Hi, welcome to Yogis That Inspire, episode 2. So today I'm going to talk about Dharma, how Dharma is essentially following your soul's purpose and what you're here to do, which essentially is serving in whichever way you feel drawn to. That's what Dharma is. And the path of yoga is the path of revealing Dharma and enabling us to live it. So, hi Daniel. Hi Aquacore. Nice to see you. In Georgia, Phoenix. Nice to have you on here. Welcome. Now, Karma Yoga suggests we act with an attitude of selflessness without any anticipation for the fruit of our action. So, in other words, simply we act with the delight and joy of being able to act, with no attachment to a particular outcome and no sense of me actually doing the action. I hope that makes sense. And one of the people I find who just selflessly serves and has found his Dharma through serving the homeless people, and has started his own charity. And I think that as well, following your Dharma can be any which way and anything you choose to do, anything you find is your calling. And I completely admire this gentleman, and his name is Daniel. So Daniel, please send me a request and I will add you on my live, and you can talk about homelessness and how you are impacting the world and changing that. So let me see where Daniel is. Daniel, let's see if I can invite him. Daniel, you there? Yeah, okay. So Daniel runs this charity called Back on Your Feet. And
hi, Rafika.
Oh, hi, Daniel.
How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Amazing to finally do this live, and I get to ask you some important questions that you can enlighten us and shed some light onto the topic of homelessness. So I met Daniel in October last year, and ever since the first moment I saw him, he was showing kindness. I saw him on the streets, showing kindness to those who looked less fortunate than us, you know. And I introduced myself and told him what a great job he's doing. And since then, we've hit it off, and I'm backing you 100%. So Daniel, please tell us. Yeah, please tell us a little about yourself, and how did you get into starting Back on Your Feet to serve the homeless people?
Okay, brilliant. So my name's Daniel, the founder of Back on Your Feet. I go around the streets of London and beyond 7 days a week, distributing food, clothing, footwear, medical supplies, toiletries, taking people off the street, booking them into hotels, as well as doing referrals to StreetLink to try and help them get them some permanent or semi-permanent accommodation. And I've also introduced a new service, a new initiative, giving haircuts to the homeless people. So I started this in October 2020. And yeah, it's just been going ever since, every day. And it's just a great feeling to be out there making a difference in the world.
How did you know this was your calling? Like, what pulled you towards this direction to serve?
Well, I've always been a kind-hearted person, especially to people that's going through a difficult time. And it was just something that I've always believed in, like never looking down on anybody, never being judgmental, always showing that compassion to those that are going through a difficult time in life. So with that being said, and part of my character and personality, I've also had a number of family members that's lost their life due to drugs and alcohol, substances, and also from being homeless. So I've lost two aunties, two uncles, and my cousin passed away at 27 from living on the streets.
Oh gosh.
So that
Okay.
was really what took me to it. But if I'm being honest with you, my daughter also, when she was living with me, when she was in college, she's really passionate about helping homeless people. And she started a blog writing about homeless people. And we spoke like, she's 20 now, so she was about 16 at the time, 16, 17. And we spoke, we planned something, and these years later, I've stepped up and made something happen. And now Morgan is part of Back on Your Feet.
Amazing. Now, Daniel, what is the most common reason why people are homeless?
There's many different reasons, to be honest with you. A lot of it comes down to I speak to a lot of people that have suffered with their childhood experiences and coming from a deprived background with no stability, no support system in place. But it comes in different shapes and forms with these people. It could be down to sexual abuse. It could be down to physical abuse, mental abuse. It can be down to mental health, as well as people that's had high-paid jobs that unfortunately have gone through a difficult time with their loved ones, whether they've lost a loved one and they can't cope and their life's transformed into something else that was unexpected. There's people that's I've spoken to that's had families that have their marriage is broken down and they have to leave the family home because they can't put the wife and the kids on the street. So obviously they've had to make the decision to leave the property and become homeless. There's so many different reasons why, but I'd say a lot of it comes down to psychological trauma from a young age.
Okay. And I love that you never judge. Every person that you meet, you never judge them. You always approach and you share kindness and love. I love that.
Yeah. Do you know what? As human beings, we don't have the right to judge anybody. I believe anyway. Like, we're all equal. It doesn't matter our colour, race, religion, where we come from, our background, if we've different classes in life, different upbringings. One thing that we need to understand and remember is that we're one. We came into this world and we'll leave this world. And the more that we can show that love, that compassion, kindness, being aware of somebody's struggle and giving them a helping hand or a conversation can make all the difference in the world. And that's why I do what I do, because I don't have that mindset of believing that anyone's lower than anybody.
Yeah.
We don't know people's struggles, what they're going through, and the stories I hear out there it's mind blowing sometimes, because first and foremost, if you judge somebody and you don't give yourself the time or allow yourself to have an understanding of somebody that's different to you or going through a difficult chapter in their life, you will never get to understand the story of the person. And I've, as you know, like, we was out yesterday, we had some amazing conversations. You had a lovely conversation with Louise, which I'm sure you learned something about her and yourself by engaging with her. And that's what it's about, the spreading that love and light in people's life that's dwelling in the darkness, going through a difficult chapter, and just being like somebody that cares and make them feel that love and care. Like, do you know what? This is genuine. This isn't for their ego. This is actually, they're out here because they care.
Wonderful. And I agree with you 100% that we're all equal. We're all flesh and bone at the end of the day. You know? And okay, so walking around the streets of London, there's so many people begging, and on this, are they people that take advantage of people giving? So are there scammers that pose as homeless?
Do you know what? I wouldn't really call them scammers.
Okay.
I will call it hustlers.
Hustlers.
Yeah, I'd call them hustlers because
they're hustling.
They're hustling. They may be pulling the wool over the people or the public's eyes, the ones that are not homeless, the ones that have a hostel or they have a roof over their head. But because of their experience and their traumatic events that they've been through in their life, they don't have the capacity, the qualifications, the motivation and energy to go and get a job to make money. And a lot of them are addicts as well. So their way of getting money is by posting up on the floor and having a sign saying, I need money for a hostel, which I understand it might look like it come across like how you said it, like it is kind of scamming the mindset and the perception of homelessness. But I always look at it like, you know what, I understand your struggle. You don't know any other way to make money, and this is your hustle. So yeah, there is guys out there that are putting the perception that everybody that is sitting on the floor is homeless when it isn't the case.
And I also think that whether they are scammers or not, I think it's the intention behind the giving. So if you give with the intention to serve and help someone else, whatever they do with the money, that's their own karma. That's their own. They will reap the benefits or the consequences. They don't use it to help themselves. I feel. What do you agree? I think it's the intention behind giving.
You was cutting out, Ratika.
Pardon?
No, you was cutting out a bit. I didn't hear the question.
Oh, I was just saying, I think the intention behind giving is the most important. So whether the charity that we give is used, however it may be used, I think if the intention is pure, that is creating good karma for yourself and for others as well. I think so. The intention behind giving, whether they use it wisely or not.
If your intention is pure and sincere, and you're trying to just spread that love and kindness, it's great. It's great. The boomerang effect of it is great. But one thing that people need to be aware of, which is something that I stand by and I urge everybody to take this information on board, is if you see a homeless person that looks like they're struggling with addictions, or they look like they're going through a difficult time, or they could be potential substance users, then go a different way about it. Ask them if they're hungry and if they're thirsty, or if there's anything you can do for them, whether it be a chat. And if they are hungry, instead of giving them money, give them something to eat. Go and buy them a sandwich. Go and buy them a bottle of water, a drink, whatever it may be, like food-wise. Because one thing we don't want to do is give money to homeless, vulnerable people that are not coping as it is, that are drug users or whatever substance they may be taking, providing that good thought and that generous offer, but then in the second breath they're going to leave as soon as you leave and go and purchase some drugs or alcohol. So it's a balance, and I never ever give money to homeless people that I know that's on misuse of drugs and stuff like that, because I always tell them, I'm here to empower you. I'm here to give you strength and keep you strong through these difficult times.
I love that. I love that. And that's one of the reasons why I love what you do, is because you don't enable the bad behaviors, you encourage the good.
Yeah.
You really do. And you know, what are some reasons that homeless people might not want to be in the shelters that are provided by the government? They would rather be out on the street than in the shelter.
Yeah. Well, a lot of them that I speak to that make that decision not to go into sheltered accommodation, there's a variety of reasons. I'll just give you a few. So a person that could have been institutionalized, whether it be in care as a child or in their later life, prison, a lot of them don't like to be isolated into a room, into a routine, under instructions. So that's one of them. Another one, they've just got immune to the street life and they're just not happy being out there, but they've just accepted it. And the most important but sad one is there's no support system or organisations that are really coming out on the front line. As you see, like how I am every day, you've witnessed it firsthand. Yeah, if people was really out there patrolling the streets, sending their colleagues out there to do a job and take these people off of the streets more frequently, then it might give the people that have lost hope and accepted the street life, give them some strength and change their mindset to want to get into a hostel or sheltered accommodation.
And
but it's sad because so many people just get overwhelmed by the lack of support, and it just takes over their whole life.
And I remember I was talking to Louise yesterday, one of the homeless women, and she was saying that the stories she hears from the shelters are horrid, and she would rather be out on the street than to be exposed to that nightmare in a shelter. Have you heard other stories like this?
Yeah. Well, remember Boage we met last night and Petra?
Yes.
Yeah. So Boage was on the streets. Then he got put into a hostel, and last week I see him. He had a big black eye. His jaw was all swollen, and somebody in the hostel attacked him. Somebody that was on drugs, and Boage doesn't dabble with drugs or alcohol. He has a drink, but he got really badly beaten up. So there's a lot of people that's in the hostels, like they're already struggling with addiction. So somebody that's not got an addiction, that you place them in there, now they're surrounded by people that are going through a worse time than themselves. So some people don't want to put themselves in that situation. But some of the stories, it's dangerous. People are getting robbed in the hostels, getting beaten up, and they become vulnerable.
Okay, I see, I understand. And what kind of shelters are available, and how can people help or volunteer to the shelters if they would like to? So are they the shelters where is it like many people congregate in one room, or do they have individual rooms for each person, or what is available, and how can?
Well, there's many different types of rooms. Like you can have like a dormitory with a number of people in, or you can have a double or a single room. And that comes back to why some people don't want to be in there, because it's like a prison setting, or a care system setting where you're put in to a room with a number of strangers, with a number of different scenarios that could happen that the person might be fearful of. So, yeah, there's all different types of rooms. But what I tend to do is I tend to take people off the street, put them into a hotel for a night, a few nights. Like I put Louise into a hotel for 5 nights. And as you know now, she's got a property
She does.
coming, which is amazing. But the shelters that are available, I'm not researched too much into it, but I know there's St Mungo's, there's St Christopher's, there's a lot of hostels around. But sometimes the sad thing is you have to be referred to go there. You can't just go there and book yourself in. And that's another difficult
on the street. Who's going to refer you? Who can refer the person if you're on the street?
There's an organisation called StreetLink who come out if somebody makes a referral to them. Like, say, for instance, Nathan. When I was with Nathan, I made a referral to StreetLink for him. And then they send another organisation out, like St Mungo's, to come out to see them at a particular time, a particular location, and then they'll refer them into the hospital.
Oh, okay, I see. Okay, thank you, Daniel. And, you know, I was doing some research into homelessness around the world, and the Finnish model have a good model for resolving homelessness because they prioritize housing as the first priority. So they put them in a home. What would be your plan if you had a certain amount of funds? Like if you were going to change, or what would you do to help
it depends what sort of funds. If I had, all right, let's just say I was a billionaire. Yeah? I'll give you 2 examples. Yeah, because we have multi-billionaires in the world and multi-millionaires in the world. Yeah, and there's organisations across the world that have millions of pounds of financial revenue where they can make an impact and make a difference. So if I was one of those people, what I would be doing is I would be building houses all around, and taking people off of the street, and putting them into these houses, until we can get them permanent accommodation. That's one of my goals. One of my goals is to have a establishment where I can book people in. So once they're booked in, I could do a referral form for them, so they're instantly off the street. Then a referral, and then the authorities, the government, can then place them into housing and things like that. But not just only that. If I had the backing, if I had the funding, which I've got the belief system that this is going to happen at some stage anyway, the right person's going to get in contact with me, see the work I'm doing, and just putting it out there. So I'm putting it out there too. So if once I get the right funding and support, then I'll keep building a team of people like yourself that volunteers off your own back with the kindness of your heart. You've got so much love and compassion to spread to these people, which we see yesterday and a number of other times that you've been out on an outreach. We see Sally, who you've previously met as well. She was so happy to see you. And I'll build a team, which I'm doing now. I've got 2 team members. Well, I've got 4, but I've got, at the minute, that's doing regular outreaches, Dwayne and Tasha, who, like myself, like yourself, we've got the compassion, we've got the awareness and the love to give to those in need. And I just have teams in all different areas, patrolling the streets and doing as much referrals as possible and get these people off of the street. And eventually it's something that I'm working on, doing workshops for people suffering with addiction, suffering with mental abuse, sexual abuse, traumatic experiences, emotional trauma that's not allowing them to move past the current situation that they're in because they're battling their demons on a day-to-day basis. So that's really what I would do. And I believe that's what the system and the government should be implementing on the streets of the UK and the world. There needs to be people out there on the front line. I understand that not everybody can do it. I understand that people can be scared of doing it, or comes back down to the judgment factor of looking down on these people and leaving them in the forgotten world.
And I think one of the things that I feel from, I used to play a lot of basketball, and there's this, we would always say, like, you're only as strong as your weakest link. So, you know, it's that mentality in basketball. Like, you train, even the weakest player on the team, you want to strengthen them so the entire team is stronger. I feel like that as the world, we're all one, and we want to strengthen even the weakest people so we can, as one, raise our consciousness.
Yeah, definitely. And you know what? When I got home and I reevaluated yesterday's outreach, because I've done so many outreaches, but yesterday was different because I was with you for one, and we give out the beanies,
beanies.
So there was like 7 of us, with the woolly hats on. We blocked off the road at one point, off the pavement. And when I got home and I analysed yesterday, I said to myself, that must have been an amazing feeling for them. Because if you see the people, they were stopping, waiting for us to take our picture. They was walking round, where normally they're just walking straight past these people like they're non-existent. And we was there, we was laughing, we was joking, we was in our own bubble, our own world. And instead of them feeling down and out and people just walking past them, giving them a dirty look, or for them sitting there and saying, if you got any spare money, any change, begging as they call it, that moment we created, that it was like another dimension, in the sense of, we're here on earth, this is the reality, but you know what we're going to do? We're going to create something beyond the reality of the struggle. And we just created, and we made them smile. The love was real. It was so genuine. I'm smiling now just thinking about how we blocked off the whole pavement.
What's that street? That was the main Borough High Street, right?
Borough High Street, and it was
the main street.
we blocked it off, and
hold on, we're here.
And that's what it was. It was like a stand, like we're standing firm, and like you said, like your weakest link, the weakest link. You're only as strong as your weakest link. So because we've got the strength and the capacity and the character to give the weakest link in society, in other people's views about them, because really and truly they're not the weakest link, they're one of the strongest links.
They're surviving out there.
And I always say, some people that's living this fancy life, that's looking down on people, being judgmental, never been through hardly any hardship or struggles, put your feet in those people's shoes. You wouldn't even be able to take a step. You would fall over where you're standing. So that's the strength and character of these people. And it was just so beautiful yesterday. And I always analyze every outreach. I'm here in the moment, but in my mind I rewind and I visualize every step. And I was really overwhelmed yesterday, and to be honest with you, it was one of my best outreaches.
Oh, oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. It really, now that you broke it down, I can understand how that would have felt for them psychologically as well. They're sitting down, so psychologically, people are walking and looking down on them. So they think they're lower, you know, just from a power standpoint. But then we brought them up, and not only did we raise them up, they were the main focus and attention in that moment in time. It was like it was like they were they had that moment of togetherness and support, and they felt the love. And I think one guy was even, you know, freestyle rapping, like he wanted to rap, and he felt the flow of source energy through him, and he wanted to share what he was feeling through a song. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, definitely, and it was not an out of body experience for me, but because when I'm with people on an outreach, I can step back and look in and observe and have a wider view instead of being in the moment. So when I was observing what was going on, the moment, like you said, we uplifted them. We were standing together. They forgot who they was. They forgot their struggle. They forgot that, oh, we're blocking off the pavement, where normally people are like, get out my way, and they have to move out the way from them because they're a bit worried or scared they're in somebody's way. And yesterday it was like we were pillars of the community, and we're standing there and we're not moving. We don't exist right now. If you don't want to walk round, then change direction, because we're not moving. And that was the amazing feeling of it.
Just acknowledging their presence, you know?
Yeah. And that's the key. Acknowledgement and engagement is worth more than money and food. Believe me.
And I think even if you don't have the money to give, you can give with a smile, right? A smile is a small act of kindness, of acknowledging their presence. It's like, I honor you and I greet you just for this simple mini moment, a gesture of kindness with a smile, right? Well, I think so anyway. Yeah.
No, it's true. It's true. And that's what I mean. If people only take the time to give them a smile, take the time, 60 seconds, 30 seconds, 10 seconds. How long is that?
Yeah, even just smile. Sorry? And, you know, even if you're in a hurry, just smile, hello, and that's it. You know, that's all you need to do.
You're breaking up a bit, Ratika. You're Wi-Fi.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Just the screen has gone blurry.
Okay. I'll ask you the next question I wanted to ask is, how would someone who's, say, under 25, but also older individuals, how would they get back into education from being homeless? How would that path look like?
You're cracking up a bit. I can't hear you a little bit. If you change the if you come back a bit, maybe.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. It was cutting out, and I just caught half of what you said.
Now?
Yeah.
Okay. So how would one?
Is it blurry on your side?
No. It's fine for me.
Okay.
Thank you, Georgia, for tuning in. I think Georgia.
Okay. Sorry, what was the question, Rafika?
The question was, how can one who's under 25 or even older individuals get back into education so they can get back on their feet through education of whatever they would like to learn?
The best answer to that would be going through a government system where they offer free education, free workshops and things like that. To be honest, I don't have too much knowledge on that on that question, but I know there's a lot of free courses for under 25 and things like that. So yeah, the best option would be to go and receive some free classes, free workshops, free placements, or do an intern in a company where you can gain some work experience and stuff like that. So that would be my answer to that.
Okay. And now if people would feel they would like to help the homeless, but don't know where to start, what can they do? What can you advise them to do?
My first advice would be to give a moment of your time. Yeah, give a moment of your time. Never judge. Have this mindset. If you see somebody struggling, sitting on the floor, they look down and out. They could be a drug user, an alcoholic, suffering with mental health. Just put yourself into their shoes just for a split second and think and feel how you would want to be treated if you was that person, or if that person was your brother, your dad, your uncle, auntie, sister, friend, people that you love and care about. If people have that mindset, they will automatically give them that moment and be like, how are you? Like you said, a little smile. Or just, if you don't know how to approach a homeless person because you're worried, you're scared of the response, nobody is going to stand up, be ignorant or aggressive if somebody's being kind to somebody. If you say to them, how are you doing? How's your day today? It might seem obvious how the day is because they're sitting on the floor and they're homeless, but it can be all the difference. You can change their mind, their inner being, their feeling to how the outcome will be if you just give them a moment of your time. And if you don't really know how to approach somebody without offering something, if you can buy a gift card, a £3 gift card from Tesco's or Sainsbury's, where that person can go and get a meal deal, like a sandwich, a drink, and a pack of crisps, and just go and approach them with that, if that would make you feel more comfortable. And then just offer your time, acknowledge them, engage with them. And like the saying goes, never judge a book by its cover. And what I always say to that quote is, open the pages and you'll see what you'll discover.
Oh, wow. I like that. Open the pages and you'll see what you discover. Very good.
Yeah.
And Daniel, you know, that's the last of my questions, and I want to say thank you so much for your time and the energy, and for doing what you do, to using the energy that you cultivate and you tap into the source that I feel of endless energy to serve in the best way you see fit. And I 100% support you and encourage you and value you on this planet that is Earth. And can you tell people how they can support you and what you do? Can you please let them know? So obviously follow Daniel on Instagram, and you let us know, Daniel.
So if you can follow me on Instagram, at Back on Your Feet. Also in the link there, I have a Linktree link, which will take you to some of my other platforms and links that shows the work I've been doing. I've got a GoFundMe page where you can click on that link, and if you'd like to support me, to support a homeless, vulnerable person in need, and you want to be part of the journey, see where your funds are going, please click the link. No matter how small the donation is, every penny is needed and gets used to support somebody going through a difficult time. Also, I have a TikTok account at Back on Your Feet, And you can also find me on LinkedIn, which is Daniel VELLA. So that's my personal LinkedIn page. But yeah, honestly, guys, like if you check through my account, check through my page from the beginning since October, you can see the work I'm doing. And the reason why I post up the work I do is so people can have a wider understanding to homelessness, raise awareness to homelessness, but not only that, when people make a donation, they can see where their money and their funds are actually going instead of it just being lost in the system and not being accounted for.
Wonderful. Well, thank you
And
so
also,
much.
and also, if you would like to make a donation, and you don't want to go through the GoFundMe page, because the minimum to donate on GoFundMe is £5. But like I said, no donation is too small. So just say, for instance, you had 50p or £1. You can DM me. I can give you my bank details. And if you wanted to donate £1, I'll be so grateful. So thank you so much.
Oh, amazing, amazing. Well, thank you so much, Daniel. And have a wonderful day. And we'll see you back on the streets to help people get back on their feet.
No, most definitely. And thank you so much for being you and for coming out, spreading that love and light into people's lives that are going through a difficult time, because you really did make a difference yesterday. And it was just amazing and beautiful to watch. So thank you.
Oh, you're most welcome. All right, I'll speak to you soon, Daniel.
All right. Speak to you soon. Thank you.